Hello, traders. It's 8:03 a.m. Chicago time on Thursday, the 23rd of July, 2020. Thanks for joining me on episode number 1803. Derivatives trading is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. This morning, a risk on sentiment, a little bit mixed actually, but mostly risk on. It looks like we did drop back into yesterday's range in the S&P. The Nasdaq is the leader today, up 49.75 or 0.46%. Gold is up another $6, $1,871.10, up 0.29. The bonds are up 16 and 16 ticks, and the Treasury, the 10-year Treasury notes up 3.5 ticks. The DAX is up 25 points. Pretty mixed. There was pretty good run higher overnight. All that time this morning. Pretty good run higher overnight. A big spike at the European Open. They got a little bit of follow through. Some numbers out of Germany came in a lot stronger, and the market kind of coasted up before it just now it sold off a little bit. So anyway, crude is the laggard. Crude's down 35 cents, trading at 41.55 or 0.84%. The S&P is now lower. It was unchanged a second ago. The Dow is down 29 points, and the Russell is down 6.9 points. Really, it's just it was until a moment ago. It was risk on, and that seems to have changed here a minute ago. In terms of things to look out for, a lot of big names announced this morning. I only track the earnings of companies that have an estimated revenue of $3 billion or higher. We had a lot that came across Nucor, Kimberly-Clark, Union Pacific, Travelers Companies, AutoNation, Freeport, Cenovus Energy, Daimler, AT&T, and Dow all reported before the markets. Almost even. Some are surprising to the upside, some are surprising to the downside. After the close today, we get Intel. Intel is expected to announce $1.10 per share and 18.55 billion. So it's just that's where we stand this morning. We got jobless claims here in the U.S. number that we more keenly pay attention to these days. Jobless claims came in at 1.416 versus an estimated 1.3 million new claims week on week. There's a lot coming out of the White House. White House economic advisor Kudlow, releasing some statements, as well as Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, a little bit driven by news. In terms of what's ahead today, why is this showing me Wednesday? In terms of what's ahead today, we did get we did get everything that really is a pusher behind us. We have the EU consumer confidence flash for July at 10 Eastern for those trading European products. And then this evening we get Great Britain's GfK consumer confidence number. Remember, the GfK consumer confidence for August out of Germany was a mover. So, and again, initial claims came out a little bit higher, but and the market responded a little bit to that, popped higher and sold off, and that's where we are. Let's take a look at what we expected yesterday versus what we got. I've really got to work on cutting down that review. Yesterday, the expectation, remember, I want to remind you once again, for those of you who are used to me just looking at Globex, wow, that is a perfect line. This is all the yesterday's Globex session. This was RTH the day before, and the expectation is we would push into this low volume node from Tuesday, which was in the 55 to 57 region. And the expectation is we are likely to take a turn there, push lower, and finish by pushing higher into the close. The expectation is we are likely to squeeze in and towards the overnight high eventually. That's what I was looking for. Here's what actually happened. We ended up pushing into that 55, 57 area right here, consolidated for a little bit. Very, very poor favorable excursion on that trade, and it squeezed out, caused a stop. I took a stop in that area, pulled back, lower high, and then it breaks below mid, and then finally reaches the other side. The open yesterday, and the reason for the stop in here, despite the discussion that I would be looking to be a seller on a virgin test higher this morning, that morning. The reason for the stop is the opening type. The opening type had a bit of a driving behavior to it. Did not really test below. We opened at 45.75, and the best it could do to the downside was 45 even. And then it put in an OS high of 52.75 and then exceeded it. I still took the short as per plan, but the squeeze looked like it was going to target the point of control, which is what was expected. Again, that's what I outlined in scenario one, that it's likely to fail, turn down, consolidate, and then push higher into the close. Here it is again. This was the plan. The plan according to the trader bite. Push up into that area, push lower down to the open, and then squeeze up. We ended up with the up squeeze on the close. So here it is. We push back down, and then we end up with the up squeeze. But the way it traded made it difficult to see that coming. And we had a neutral day. We poked through the IB low, we poked through the IB high, and we finished on a neutral extreme day. We finished in the upper quartile of the range, and it pushed back up into that VPOC. There it is, test of the VPOC, which was what was expected early on, or I should say, what was expected once the LVN was broken. So yesterday was, we're still trading in that gap from the 24th of February on the sell-off. And then since then, and by the way, note that Delta remained above zero the entire session along with price, pretty congruent or in agreement with the price action. This here is a 24-hour chart or a full session chart. Again, here's your RTH session, and then so we reopen, we pull back to about the prior session's mid. We hold steady in a sideways range, and then as soon as the European markets open, that GFK number comes in, and we push, we spike up, we have an impulse up, and we have a secondary impulse, deep pullback, and a double top weak high. The high overnight is very, very weak. The volume is actually quite low, and it ends up pushing back, putting in a lower high, and then we sold off in the most recent hour or so, and have come back into the range and are basically trading around yesterday's close. And so overall, we've tested above. When I came in this morning early, the market was up in here, and my thought was, okay, this area here is becoming a clear area up, above and under, over and under area, and the expectation is it's likely to get tested, this mid VWAP, full session VWAP, along with the prior high this area here is likely to give us a bounce, and it did. It gave a bounce of about 4 points before puking them down on the release of the initial claims number. So it's now a double distribution profile with a weak high, and we're in the lower distribution, changing the game quite a bit, changing the plan quite a bit. So that's what we're dealing with coming into today's set. Just again, a couple things to note while we're here. We still have quite a bit going on. Remember, there's a big fight here between 56 and 58. These are areas that I think you should note. 56 and 58. There was quite a bit going on here at the 45. Another area to note. And then beneath here, down below, we have 28 as a key reference area. These are key areas to watch out for. These are key areas to watch out for if we continue to push lower. Those become kind of a magnet test areas, and push, and the push may be exaggerated. What we did yesterday was a higher low, higher high to the prior session with a point of control shifting higher. The market is accepting higher prices into the gap, and that's something to take into account. I'm not going to spend much time on this on CT Bookmap here, other than to say it's pretty obvious from the overnight session where we stand. And lately, the liquidity has been quite thin, so we're not seeing as much in terms of a fight in the ES as we would normally expect. So, oh, that's too far. That's too little. Okay, guys, that was wonderful. The my fiber connection ended up dropping here. I'm working from home today, and that's not good. Anyway, sorry about that. Let's just get into what's expected for today and let you guys get back to trading. So today, what am I looking for? It's incredible how many issues there are with connections, despite what you pay. Here's the expectation for today. I'm expecting, given that we've spent most of the session above the close, the overall inventory is balanced. So I'm looking for an open auction that is in range. An open auction that is in range that is likely to respond higher, and I'm looking for it to have a hard time at yesterday's high and today's mid and LVN for a push lower. I'm looking for a test of the point of control. We're likely to test and have a higher high, but today is likely to show a bias to the downside. That's what's expected on the primary scenario. We have squeezed into the gap and we have sold off. I'm not expecting it to continue first thing. This is the primary scenario. The secondary is we open, we test down, and then we get our impulse higher, push into this low volume node. This is an important area right here, low volume node and so on, and then squeeze through for the overnight point of control stat, and then push for the overnight high. Squeeze, and that's scenario 2. That gives us approximately approximately uh, uh, 25 or so, 25, 28 points of range on the upside. I'm going to tell you that both of these scenarios play 50-50, could go either way. But given the most recent action and the fact that the market gave up this low volume node and has taken back the scene of the crime from the release this morning, it tells me that there's some weakness here and it's likely to continue lower to find buyers. The market continues in the direction that it's in until it finds the opposing force, and then buyers are likely to step in. Hopefully, you hear me loud and clear. But I'll leave you with those thoughts. And don't forget, by the way, to hit the subscribe button. You can do so by also going to the URL in front of you, which I'm putting in the box here in the chat. Just go to YouTube and click on subscribe. This way, you're notified when things like this happen. When I restart the stream or whatever, there's an issue. You're notified by YouTube automatically. Thanks a lot, and I'll catch you soon. Take care.